The first time Eve danced, the city forgot how to breathe. Neon lights bled across wet pavement, and bass rolled through the underground club like distant thunder. The floor was packed, smoke curled lazily over bodies, and the DJ whispered danger through speakers older than the building itself. Then Eve stepped into the center. She wore white, brilliant white, the kind of red that looks like a dinner wedding gown. Her feet touched the floor and the room stilled, as if even the music was waiting for permission. When the beat dropped, she didn't dance. She summoned movement. Every step felt intentional, ancient, like a language older than rhythm itself. Across the room, in a private booth carved from shadows and gold, sat Lucien Moretti, Mafia heir, city ghost, the man who owned half the streets without ever being seen on them. Lucien wasn't there for music. He was there for silence, for the kind of quiet that only power buys. But when Eve moved, something inside him shifted, like a locked door cracking open in a house he swore had no windows. "Who is she?" he asked, voice smooth, eyes sharp. "No name on file," his right-hand man replied. "She just showed up 3 nights ago." The crowd follows her like a tide. Lucien leaned forward and watched his fate dance. Eve lived above a closed-down bookstore, in a room too small for her dreams and too quiet for her thoughts. She danced because it was the only way her blood stopped humming. She had never known her father. Her mother had died when Eve was 12, leaving behind nothing but a cracked mirror and a warning she didn't understand. Never love deeply. Never dance for devotion. Your heart carries a curse. Eve didn't believe in curses. She believed in rhythm, survival, and the simple magic of making people feel something. So she danced. Lucien Moretti ruled without noise. He didn't shout. He didn't threaten. He didn't need to. People disappeared quietly around him. Rivals folded. Enemies stopped breathing. But Eve's dance unsettled him. Not because it was seductive, because it was familiar. He had seen that movement before. In dreams he never remembered. In blood he couldn't explain. That night, he sent for her. Eve was escorted through gold halls and silent men until she reached Lucien's private room. The air smelled like smoke, leather, and secrets. He didn't touch her, didn't smile, didn't threaten. "I want you to dance only for me," he said. She laughed. "I'm not property." "No," he replied calmly. "You're a storm. I'd rather not stand in its path." She studied him. Power clung to him like perfume. Danger lived behind his eyes. "And if I refuse? Then you walk out alive," he said. "But the world will not be kind to you after tonight." She should have walked away. She didn't. From that night on, Eve danced exclusively at Lucien's private events. His parties weren't celebrations. They were negotiations with wine. She danced while deals were signed in blood and champagne. She danced while men whispered betrayals into crystal glasses. And every time she danced, something strange happened. People grew bolder, more violent, more obsessed. Lucien noticed it first. Fights broke out after her performances. Rivals became reckless. Men killed each other over her gaze. The city began to burn around her rhythm. One night, after a performance soaked in tension and gunpowder, Eve collapsed backstage. Her vision blurred. The world fractured into fire and shadow. She saw wings. She saw oceans. She saw a man crowned in lightning, screaming her name across centuries. When she woke, Lucien was beside her. "Tell me what you saw," he said. She shook her head. "I don't know." But deep inside, something ancient stirred. That night, she dreamed of blood on marble floors, of temples falling, of lovers dying in her arms, and a voice whispered, "You are not fully human. You never were." Eve searched her mother's old belongings until she found the cracked mirror again. This time, when she touched it, it burned. A memory surged through her like lightning. Her father, not a man, a demigod of passion and war, exiled for loving a mortal woman. Her mother, their love had angered the divine. And the punishment? Their child would carry a curse. Anyone who loved her deeply would die by violence. Eve fell to her knees. Lucien's face flashed in her mind. Lucien wasn't immune. He tried to be. But love crept in like smoke under a locked door. He noticed the way she laughed only with him. The way she softened when no one else was watching. The way the world seemed quieter when she was near. One night, after a dangerous deal turned bloody, he pulled her into his arms. "Don't leave," he said. "Not tonight. Not ever." Her heart shattered in silence. She loved him, and loving him meant killing him. Lucien's rivals noticed his weakness. A new syndicate rose. The streets filled with bodies. Explosions rattled the skyline, every attack traced back to Eve's presence. Where she danced, death followed. Lucien's men began to die. His empire started to bleed. He confronted her. Why does the city fall apart around you? Tears filled her eyes. Because I was never meant to belong here. She tried to leave. Lucien refused. If the world is ending, he said, then I'll stand in the fire with you. The rival syndicate announced their takeover with a grand event, a midnight gala at the Grand Ballroom. A trap wrapped in velvet and champagne. Lucien knew it was a setup. He went anyway. Eve went with him. She wore white, not innocence, sacrifice. As she stepped onto the dance floor, gunmen hid among guests. Snipers watched from balconies. Bombs ticked beneath tables. The music began. She danced, not for them, for him. Her movements became sharper, older, divine. The air crackled. Lights flickered. Time slowed. The rival boss raised his gun. Lucien saw it. He moved. The bullet flew. Eve felt it tear through her chest. She collapsed into Lucien's arms. Blood soaked the dance floor. As her blood touched the ground, the world fractured. The lights shattered. Walls cracked. A divine force erupted from Eve's body. Her eyes glowed gold. Wings of fire and shadow unfurled behind her. The music twisted into thunder. Gunmen froze. Bombs disarmed themselves. The room bowed. Lucien stared at her, shaking. What are you? He whispered. Her voice echoed like thunder wrapped in sorrow. I am the consequence of forbidden love. With a single gesture, she ended the rival syndicate. Their weapons turned to dust. Their bodies fell lifeless. The war ended in silence, but divine power demands payment. Her wings burned away. Her glow faded. She collapsed into Lucien's arms again. I can't stay, she whispered. Not without destroying you. I don't care, he said. I choose you. She smiled sadly. You already chose death. She kissed him, soft, final. Then she vanished. Not in light, not in fire, in absence. Months later, Lucien still ruled the city, but he was different, quieter, softer. He shut down the club where he first saw her. No more music, no more dance. One night alone, he stood on the empty floor and heard a beat, soft, familiar. He turned. Eve stood at the edge of the room, not alive, not dead, a shadow of light. I can visit, she said, but never stay. He smiled through tears. Then dance. She did, and for a moment, the city remembered how to breathe.